right, away we go on a nice, warm, steamy July Monday. What's up, Al?
Hot steamy, Jerry. Hot steamy. Yeah. So I saw a billboard yesterday when I was driving around, and it said something about like we deserve to know how much medical things cost.
Okay.
Right. And that's like the thing, like when you go to the doctor or something, you have no idea what something costs, right?
Nope.
And you hear like you may go to the doctor, it costs you one thing, and Eddie goes to the doctor, it costs him another thing. And then when they find out you don't have insurance, it costs you another thing. So I started to try to think of other things that we don't know the cost of when we purchase it. Like, are there other
You mean
things?
the total cost?
No, like when like someone like for example, if I took my dog to the vet,
Oh, for
and
sure.
they'll be like, we really should do an X-ray. Do you want to do an X-ray? And you agree to an X-ray. You have no idea what that X-ray costs.
Now,
Right?
it's interesting you say the vet because our vet recently, because obviously we lost our cat. I told you how to put him down a couple months ago. Now, I guess it was up until recently. Same thing. We need to do this. He needs a shot. She needs a shot. Then you get the bill. It's like, whoa, the shot was $193. Like, what the hell? Now, literally, I would say maybe since January 1st, their new policy, upfront pricing.
See, that's
But
nice.
you are right, though. For my whole life, you didn't know what the vet cost until you went to to pay.
Yeah. It's like you go get a prescription. It's like, who knows what this is going to cost when the pharmacist gets back to the front.
You don't know if they're going to come up and say that'll be $133 or $1.
Yeah, no idea.
That's true.
So I was trying to think of, are there other things in life? I guess like sometimes when like someone comes out, you bring an electrician out.
Oh, 100%.
Right. You bring your car in to get fixed. You have no idea what that bill is going to be.
You don't. Now, a good mechanic, though, will look at your car and then give you an estimate.
Yeah.
But sometimes they will just, like, you bring your car. I believe most dealerships, not all of them, I believe a lot of dealerships, if you go in and say, I need this, this, and this, they don't give you an estimate. They just do the work and here's the bill.
Yes.
And you're sitting there like, I'm sorry, that was $1,100.
Yeah.
What?
Like, well, you do need wheels.
I'll tell you a good one, and it's more on you. That's going into a vacation. You probably have no idea what you're going to end up spending when you head out for that trip. Is it going to be a couple $1,000s, or are you going to get there and be like, oh my God, every drink is $25 and the dinners are absurd. This is going to cost me $8,000.
Yeah, the only good thing with a trip is if you're able to space it out. Like, so if you go, okay, I'm going to buy my flights 3 months in advance. Sure. Okay, so those you probably paid for already, right? So now you kind of.
I just meant the spending money. Like you might not know how much the trip is going to cost out of pocket when you're there.
Yeah, and then you don't want to be a cheapskate when you're out there.
It's
like
true.
You spent all this money on flights, spent all this money on hotel, rental car. Now you don't want to nickel and dime what meal you're going to.
You're not going to run to the diner for dinner.
Yeah.
You want to experience the cuisine of the area.
Cuisines? That's another thing you don't know the prices sometimes. When you go to a restaurant, and you'll see this with seafood a lot. It'll be like market price. MP. They'll put, well, what's the MP?
Whatever they want to charge you that night.
Yeah. And then, but I also find it also strange when a restaurant will tell you the specials and they'll say the price when they're doing this. That feels weird too.
Well, I told you, I went to a place in New York City last year for my wife's birthday. And we were on Mulberry, we were in Little Italy. And it was very cool, old school Italian restaurant in the middle of all those Italian restaurants. It was great. And they read the specials. And in my head, I'm like, I'm going to get a special and save some money. Wrong. wrong, more wrong. Because it was fettuccine with like black truffles or something. I don't know. And by the way, it wasn't even any good. It was $93.
Yeah.
For a bowl of pasta with a couple of shaved truffles.
Yeah, those truffles were market price, Jerry. You have no idea what those cost.
Big mistake.
It's also weird in a restaurant, they'll give everybody a menu, right? You sit down, here's your menu. The places that have the specials where they only have the waiter or waitress list them off, that's annoying because you're like, what was the thing with the short?
They're running them through them so fast.
Yeah, too fast. There's too many of them. But the others, when they put the specials on its own specials menu, they put one on the table. But we all want to look at
There's 4 of us.
Yeah, we all want to look. It's a piece of paper. Make a copy.
You happen to be right about that. That is true. Yes. You should, if you're going to give a menu, there should be a specials sheet in every menu.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
That is true.
The lobster's always market price. They
Yeah.
love a market price lobster, oysters, fish, like a tuna. They'll go, that's market
And
price.
to me, quite frankly, I don't care because I don't eat any of that
Yeah.
stuff. That would be annoying to me, though.
Yeah,
That would bug me.
market price.
Yeah, I don't like it. But you know what? Not for anything. You have any idea how much a drink costs you until you get the drink and they give you the bill?
No.
I mean, when we did that at the bar with CeeLo to raise money for Boomer's Foundation, there were people. I learned very quickly how to make some drinks. I didn't make everything, but I could make a Tito's and soda. It wasn't that big a deal. Or if it was just a beer, you want to pay for this or run a tab? Nah, just run a tab. Okay. Like the guy sits there for 2 hours while we're there, and they were very nice, and they ordered a few drinks and some meals. How does he know we weren't charging you $23 a drink?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what you're getting, and especially if it's a new restaurant. I told you I was in Minnesota with Rutgers a couple of years ago. I got one drink; it was $24. I was like, I'm in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be cheap. There was more than New York.
It's funny if you're paying cash for, let's say, drinks, and you have a $20 bill, and you order a drink or two beers, and they go, it's loud. It's like everyone's part, and the person, the cashier goes, and you hand them a 20, and they're looking at you
Still
like
staring at you.
What else? This is $25, and you're like, oh, I thought I was getting change back.
That's when the money becomes real. The cards don't make it feel real.
Yeah.
When you're actually handing them cash is when it's like, holy Christ, I just spent how much on a drink?
You ever do the thing, and they tell you should do this where you're spending money, is you figure out how much you make an hour.
Right.
And then look at every purchase as to how many hours of work
that's hard.
You know, that's hard to do. I know, but sometimes when you're eating it that'll hit you sometimes like, damn.
Yeah,
this was an hour of work.
I think it'll drive you nuts though too.
Yeah.
Because where we live, everything is so incredibly expensive. I think you would literally drive yourself crazy if you did that. Because none of it makes sense then, honestly. Nothing makes sense.
You wouldn't say like, oh, these 2 drinks is an hour of work.
How much is your commute?
Man.
How many hours of work for your commute to get to work? Honestly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It sucks.
Like my first hour of work or first hour and a half of work is my commuting for the day.
It really, that's why I wouldn't think too deep about it, think too much about it. Just kind of move on do what you got to do and move on with your day.
Did you see the stuff with that big, beautiful bill, what it was called?
I haven't seen any details of it yet.
So I feel like I saw some details. I was a little confused with some of them. Some of the things appear to be like just for the next 3 years. So like no tax on tips. Like if you're
if you're a waiter or waitress.
You're a waiter or waitress. For your first, I think, $25,000.
Okay.
Does that make would you tip less now knowing that their tips going further?
Know that.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't tip less. Absolutely not. That's not their fault.
Even though they're getting more of the tip money. I would always assume
they're always getting all of it. No one's reporting all those cash tips.
Correct. No one's reporting 10% cash tips.
They're reporting.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, that one, and you had something with the tax deductions. I don't know if it was our property tax thing went from the $10,000 deduction to up to $40,000 now.
Really?
Yeah, that changed.
Is that going to help us?
I'm not sure.
I'll have to read into that.
Yeah, you got to read into it. I tried reading into it. I was still confused by it.
Dude, the language in these things
is
stupid.
And then if you're clicking on a news organization that hates Trump, I don't know, are they telling me the truth or they're just bashing it? Or someone who loves Trump, and they're telling me the truth or telling me how great it is. Like, can someone just tell me what this means?
I don't disagree with you at all. You're not wrong. And then you got Elon Musk wanting to form a new government party because they hate each other now. Like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, I would love to get a third party, but like it just doesn't happen here.
Well, we'll see. If anybody's got enough money to make it happen, it's him.
I guess. Yeah, then you got to get a strong third party candidate. Everyone just votes along party lines. You know what I mean?
Not me.
No, I mean like the actual politicians. They'll vote for a bill
I see
based on if their party introduced the bill.
I gotcha. Got it.
And then that reminds me of the other thing. When there are certain things that we all seemingly agree on, and yet we still don't do them. For example, I don't think you could find anybody that likes the idea of like when a bill is proposed, it has all these other things in it that get passed or shot down. That's not the main part of the bill, right? So, for example, if you wanted to do no tax on tips,
Right.
but in that bill, I'm also going to pull funding for veterans. Then, if I vote for the bill,
Now you look
they
like you're
go,
against
"Oh,
veterans.
you're against veterans." And if you vote against the bill, you're like, "You don't want hardworking people to." And they're like always complete opposite things. Why can't we vote on?
One thing.
Yes,
Yes. And let it
today we're
stand on its
voting.
own.
Today we're voting on just tips. Or are we taxing tips? That's all we're voting on today.
Yeah. That's the way it should be done.
But and everyone agrees to that. But
I
there
don't
must
know.
be something stopping that from
There's
happening.
too much red tape, as they say.
Yeah,
Way too much.
too much red tape.
Way too much. That is true. That is true. I couldn't imagine being in politics. I really couldn't.
Because even people that get into it with
Good intentions.
yeah, like the system sucks you up,
It does.
right?
Because and I'm sure people are pulling at you from every different direction.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a favor. No, thank you.
Right.
I'll pass.
Even local politics. I think like even down to like a local small mayor,
Yeah,
like you're involved in
absolutely.
crap.
You are. Of course you are. That's why I've really come to, and I'll never. It's too late in the game for me. But you really want to enjoy your life and not have any concern. Man, if you had a YouTube page that was pumping out money, like think about you don't have to deal with anybody. It's just put out good content. No one's bugging you. There's no favors. You don't have to make this person happy. You just got to make sure and the money comes in. You don't have a boss. There's no schedule. Like that sounds lovely to me.
Yeah, but I think in order to do it and make money at it, you have to pump out a lot of stuff.
Oh, no. I know that. But what I'm saying is you don't have a boss breathing down your neck. You don't have to worry about oversleeping.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about being pulled in 6 different directions. This is what I do. But yes, I know you got to, and like I said, it's too late for us at this point, but God, that sounds lovely.
Yeah. You also have to, you are at the mercy, I think, of YouTube, right?
To some degree, yes, unless you get big enough.
That's what I wonder.
Mr. Beast isn't going to get turned around anytime soon.
Right. But he's such an anomaly.
Yes.
But even a guy like we had that guy, Nicky Cass,
Yeah.
in, right? So he is a young guy.
Yeah.
I think he's making decent money.
I think he's making very good money.
He's got a couple employees.
Yes. No, he's making serious money.
But like at some point, doesn't that end?
I don't know. I honestly have no idea. It's a great question.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of who he was until Gio brought him in and mentioned him.
Yeah.
But there's a whole world out there that did. I don't know.
Yeah, I just assume like at some point, all these things run their course, right? Most things. And then like it sounds great for like a young person, someone just out of college over it, has a successful YouTube page or successful TikTok, somewhere where the money is coming in. And then at some point that's just going to stop. And then where do you
cut by 80%?
Yeah. And then where do you go from there?
Right.
We always talk about that with radio careers, right? Like when the radio career ends, where do you go from there?
Right, which I think about a lot.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
I guess it's no different than for, we have a similar career in that.
I think different maybe in that we have, not that it matters. I don't even know if it matters anymore, but we do have degrees. We did go to college. We do have a lot more experience on our resume than someone that just out of high school starts a YouTube page. There is no resume. I was a YouTuber. I haven't done a resume since 1995 or 96, I guess it was. If I did a resume today, I think it would look pretty good as opposed to a 26-year-old whose YouTube page ended.
Yeah.
And they go in for a job and there's nothing on it except YouTuber. So I guess that would be a little different, perhaps.
Yeah. Right. But this is a legitimate media company we work for and a legitimate radio
and we had
station.
to show up to work on time every day for 20-something years.
Yeah.
And, I had responsibilities and fulfilled them. So I'd like to think that would fall in our favor.
Yeah.
But who the hell knows?
I also wonder, like, somebody like, I'll just keep using Nicky Cash just because we know who he is. And like, what does he do for health benefits?
Well, he's his own company. He's got to get them. That's the one thing. It's funny you bring that up.
Oh, so you create,
his company would have to buy.
So he creates a company for himself and his employees.
Yeah.
And then goes and gets insurance no different than Odyssey going to get
Correct.
health insurance?
Yeah, as a small business.
Yeah.
Or I don't know how big his business is, but yes, and how many employees he has to get insurance for.
Hmm.
And the fewer employees, the more it costs. The reason why I've said this to you many times, our insurance through the union to me is off the charts phenomenal. And I think that's because SAG-AFTRA has over 100,000 members. So they're buying a policy for hundreds of thousands of people. They get really good rates, and that trickles down to us, which is great. You work at a small company, it's going to cost that company a lot more, and they're going to pass that on to you. Like, it might cost you a lot of money to get medical benefits. Whereas for me, I have a great family plan. But yeah, I would think Nikki Cass Inc. has to get medical benefits through Aetna or Horizon Blue, whoever. And they got to figure that out for their employees.
It's funny because I follow a lot of people on Instagram that are, these food influencers and ingredients and health people. And they often love to do a question and answer thing where you submit a question and they answer them. Ask me anything. I ask all of them about health insurance.
No one
Not a
replies.
single response ever.
Well, if if they're their own entity and they don't have employees,
Yeah.
they could do the health insurance exchange. The
Yeah.
Obamacare is still out there. I'm talking about if you have a company and employees, that's different. If you're yourself,
Yeah.
you could just do, I think, Obamacare. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so. And then you pay based on your income for that.
Is that, I don't even
Yeah.
know. Is that how it is?
Yeah. So
Okay.
depending on how much money you earn per year is what you pay for.
Insurance.
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't know if it's still called Obamacare, but that's what people know.
People call it that.
No, but I think what you said before the exchange, I have heard that also.
But that's another one of those things, like, no one takes into account when they like to bash owners, whether it's sports teams or just of businesses or companies. Like, those are things as employees, you might have to put money in for sure, but they're putting in more. I know my dad would always tell me that was the last company he worked for. He's since retired from it. One of the reasons they couldn't do it anymore was the cost of health insurance for the company. Like, you just couldn't do it. It was cost prohibitive. So it's one of those expenses when you start a business, you don't think about.
Right.
It's like, oh, health insurance. How much? Oh my God. How much is that? Well, there went the profits. It's tough.
Yeah.
Very tough.
It's funny too, because the way I have mine set up, my health insurance, I have a higher deductible.
Right.
And then it doesn't cost me very much per month with the Odyssey. I think they have a good, as good as health plans are these days. But it's funny because you have health insurance and you get one with a high deductible. And then when you go to the doctor, like, I thought I had health insurance. It's like, yeah, you do, jackass, but no one kick in for like $2,500.
Exactly. Like, you got to use it a lot.
Yeah.
But that means you're spending a lot to get to it.
Right.
But it's also there in case you need surgery.
Yeah, I always look at it that way, right? Like you're covering yourself for a really big expense that you can't handle.
Like, somewhere along the way, and maybe that's one of the issues in this country with why the rising costs of insurance. Somewhere along the way, the idea of health insurance, I always thought, was not to go get a physical, but it was, you need surgery, you got into an accident, some sort of, the doctor sends you for scans for, to make sure you don't have disease or something like that. But like, to go to the doctor or the dentist, I don't know. They shouldn't be charging crazy amounts of money, and that should just be a service you pay for. But now everything's through insurance, which is why it costs so much money.
Right.
I don't know. Not sure anymore.
Stinks, Jerry.
Yeah, life's expensive, Al.
Yeah. I see so many things online of people where they'll like get a bill for their health insurance or for their health care.
Yeah.
And it'd be like this astronomical number. Then they tell the doctor's office, oh, I don't have health insurance. And then all of a sudden the price is knocked way, way down.
But now it wouldn't be for us.
Wouldn't be, you're right. But if you have health insurance, they're submitting that thing and then boom, you got to pay your deductible.
You are not kidding.
Man.
I know.
I think about that too with like house insurance.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, what do I want? What do you want the deductible to be? Something small, or this has got to be like if a car drives through my house, right, I need coverage.
Roof collapses.
Yeah. Not just like,
pipe
broke in my kitchen and I got to fix the wall.
I don't think I've ever made a claim with homeowners insurance. because I don't want it to go up. I'd rather just pay. And now, if I need it, obviously for something serious, we'll use it.
Yeah.
But I haven't done that. And anytime my car has been a couple of times, my car was affected by some sort of an accident. I never put claims in.
Yeah.
Just don't even deal with it. Just get it fixed and move on. That's me.
Your car was assaulted.
Yes, it was by a street sweeper.
Your car was assaulted by a street sweeper.
Here.
Yep. Just like really beat it up that one day.
Yeah, that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I would like to. Don't you wish you could have at least like when you get out to your car and it's damaged, that you could at least see what happened?
Yeah, I would have needed to have seen a camera. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that
got the
would have been-
photo of the car smashed into it. I mean, I have to be a genius to see what happened. I think the guy fell asleep.
What do you mean you got a picture of?
I have a picture of the street sweeper into the Escalade into my car.
Oh, how did you get that?
When I went down there, they were still waiting. They were waiting for the cops. I didn't. I never
Oh.
followed up on the claim. The guy who got hit in the Escalade did file a claim, I believe, and he wanted the cops.
Oh, so you didn't just come out one day and assume
No,
that your car got hit.
I can actually find you that photo.
That's awesome.
those
That's
were-
a New York picture, Jerry.
Those were the days of Craig,
Yeah.
because I thought Craig was pulling a prank on me. So that has to have been at least 2000, and it was my Prius back in the day. So when did he get arrested? Was it September 17?
Yeah.
All right. So I said it might have been that summer, actually. It's a matter of, come on.
That's
I pulled it right. Google Photos is amazing. Look at this.
That's a New York City story to have your car get hit while parked. Oh my gosh. Oh, so the street sweeper hit the Escalade. The Escalade hit your car.
Yeah.
Damn. What are the chances of that, Jerry? Right in front of the building. Damn.
Very funny you say that. What are the chances? Well, apparently for me, 100%. There you go. That's what the picture looks like. Can you see that?
A little lower. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. It was doing nothing. Never forget the phone call. Yes. Is anybody up there that has a black Prius? I'm like, I do. Why? What's up? You might want to come down here. Why? Just come down. Oh my God. What happened? I go outside. What's going on? Your car was in an accident. I'm not in the car. He goes, just go outside. What? Then I walk out. I'm like, okay, I'm going back to work. Just let me know what I got to do.
Your car was in an accident.
Oh
you
my
weren't in
God.
it, but your car was
Never forget
behaving
that.
very poorly.
And then when they told me they're like, oh, you can file a claim and you get it all fixed. And I'm like, where do I got to go? And he gave me the address for the precinct in New York City.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
Yeah.
I'm like, does the door work? Yep, I'm good. And I did. I never got it fixed.
Yeah, I'm going to eat this one.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
All right, Jerry, let's do the warm-up show
You ready
now.
to do 4 hours tomorrow?
Tomorrow we'll do the Boomer and Geo show.
That's right,
6 to 10 a.m. with CeeLo on updates.
Yes, sir.
So no warm-up show tomorrow.
Okay.
They're not even letting CeeLo and Arami do the warm-up show.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
They should. I don't know why.
They're,
CeeLo does shows here all the time.
They're pushing CMAC back an hour on the front end and,
Okay.
and giving them the extra hour on the back end.
All right.
All right, then, Jerry, we'll see you tomorrow. So